Hello, my name is Erin, and I'm going to walk you through some easy steps for teaching and assessing the 5th grade standard, which is to demonstrate the use of value to create realism in drawings by understanding a value scale with tints and shades and form and cast shading. I'm going to help you unpack and understand this standard. Be sure to check out the description for a full list of the materials. And thanks for joining me today. For additional information and resources, please be sure to visit Learning First System in Canvas or the Fine Arts channel in the 5th grade team. So, what is value? Value describes the lightness or darkness of a color. Here you can see dark reds, light reds, and reds in betweens, as well as a range of value in the whites, from really bright whites to some darker grays. In the black and white version of the red apple, it is easier to see the value range as it has greater contrast. White, blacks, light grays, dark grays. When we talk about a range of value, we are referring to a value scale. A value scale is a rectangular shape that is divided into sections showing different values ranging from light all the way to dark. You can see in this example 7 value steps ranging from white to black with several grays in between. Value scales can also be created using color. Here is the same example, but this time using the color red. To get a lighter value of a color, you have to add or mix in white. This is called a tint. For example, when you add white to black, you get gray. When you add white to blue, you get a light blue. And depending on how much white you add to a color will determine how light the color will be. To get a darker color or a darker value, you add or mix in black. This is called shade. Just like with adding white, it depends on how much black you add to a color to determine how dark the color will be. I should also add that you can create the illusion of tints and shades by the pressure you exert on the utensil you are using. For example, if I'm using a red colored pencil and I need a light red, I will use less pressure as I color. The opposite is true. If I need a dark red, I will apply more pressure to the colored pencil as I color. Layering is also another way to achieve a range of value. If I color with an area with my crayon, but I need to darken that area, I can go over it with my crayon, building up the layers of color, which will also make it darker. Let's take a look at a few works of art to help us identify how artists use a range of value to create a sense of realism in their work. In Viva la Vida by Frida Kahlo, you can see that she has set up a still life of watermelons. Even though we know that watermelons are green on the outside and red on the inside, Frida used light greens and dark greens, areas of light reds and dark reds throughout her application of color to help the watermelons look real. You can also see that under the melons are dark shades of brown, the shadows that the watermelons are casting on the surface of the ground. Because she used a range of values, the watermelons appear to be three-dimensional. They have form even though they are painted on a flat surface. As we look at this still life etching by Giorgio Morandi, we can see the range of value a lot easier because we have a tendency to see greater contrast with white, black, and grays. Morandi achieved the range of value by using a technique called cross-hatching, which is layering parallel lines next to each other and then laying a layer of parallel lines going the opposite direction to help achieve light areas and dark areas and mid-value areas in between. Though Morandi used only household items as his subject matter in this piece, there is a level of interest in each item as he paid close attention to the values to create their individual shapes. As you introduce value to your students, it's important for them to practice making value scales. I have provided a handout for your students to use. The handout has 3 blank value scales. In the first value scale, have your students use a graphite pencil to fill in the sections, either using the pressure or layering technique to achieve tints and shades. With the second value scale, have your students use colored pencils. Have them select a color and decide if they want to use the pressure or layering technique, or they can also get out their white and black colored pencils and use them to blend with the color they selected to create the tints and shades. And lastly, with the third value scale, have your students use oil pastels. With this one, I would recommend that your students select a color along with the white and the black pastels. Have your students mix the white oil pastels with the selected color to achieve tints, and then mix the black oil pastel with the selected color to achieve a variety of shades. Once your students understand how to make a value scale, have them demonstrate their knowledge of value in this project. In this still life example, the student shows proficiency by demonstrating the use of value to create a realistic piece of fruit, including a range of light to dark colors, shadows, and a sense of form. Here we have light areas. Here we have darker areas. Here is even more dark, shadows, and a sense of light coming in. Be sure to check out the description for a full list of materials, and thanks for joining me today. For additional information and resources, please be sure to visit Learning First System in Canvas or the Fine Arts channel in the 5th grade team.